Hi everybody, hi! Welcome back to my channel Birdiology, and on this episode we will be talking and we will be learning about calcium and minerals. And also, is it safe for your birds? Do your birds really need it? And also, we will be making on how to
make your mineral block. It's so easy, so come on, let's get it on.
Yeah!
Rise up this morning, out on my feet, walking down the doorway into the street. Welcome to my journey, Birdiology.
Calcium, a mineral you can get in many foods. Its function is to provide healthy, strong bones and for muscles to contract. Calcium also maintains a normal heart rhythm and helps the nerves to function well, and also good for the brain. Our birds can easily become deficient in this mineral, so calcium is very essential for any bird. In the wild, birds get calcium on dried bones of dead animals and on empty shells and mineral-rich soil, and sometimes eating the eggs of other birds. Why do we need to provide calcium? Here are the reasons. The number one reason is for formation of the egg. Eggshell is made almost entirely of calcium carbonate. Low levels of calcium can cause brittle and soft eggshells and tiny eggs or undeveloped eggs, and also decreases egg production. It can also cause poor hatchability, so calcium is the number one mineral for egg production. It also helps in contraction of the uterus during egg laying. That means we won't be dealing with egg binding or stuck egg that can be deadly on females. It is also beneficial for young chicks. It helps them grow well without deformities. It is good for bone growth and feather growth and muscle growth. Low calcium in chicks cause splayed legs, deformed beaks, and feet and toe malposition, and missing toes, brittle bones, and deformed wing feathers. And calcium deficiency may also be associated with brittle and frayed feathers and itchy skin. Symptoms of low calcium makes your bird nervous and has anxious behavior. So, calcium is necessary for nerve impulses. It also increases heal rate on wounds, and it is responsible for blood clotting. All in all, calcium is the number one mineral that is needed for all birds among all other minerals. Now, let's talk about minerals. Minerals are defined as solid, inorganic, and naturally found substances on Earth. Minerals are important for many processings in the body. It regulates body functions. It helps the body grow, repair tissue, and metabolize. It also helps vitamins to do their job. Here are some minerals that can benefit our birds. Potassium. Potassium is necessary for the heart to contract. Without potassium, the heart won't be able to contract to pump blood in the body. Zinc. It helps to boost the immune system and fight disease. Iron. It helps to transport oxygen in the blood. These are just few examples of many minerals that are important for our birds' general health. So, it is very important to consume and add these minerals in our birds' diet.
So now that we have learned about calcium and how does it work for the bird's body, and also those minerals that can be beneficial for our birds, and now it's time to get those ingredients to make our mineral or calcium block. Let's go! Now that we have all our ingredients, it's time to learn each one of them on how they benefit our birds.
Oyster shells. Just like eggs, oyster shells are mainly composed of calcium carbonate and minerals, including magnesium, sodium, copper, iron, nickel, and some microelements. Oyster shells will also serve as our soluble grit. What is soluble grit? This is the grit that can be easily dissolved in the bird's stomach and will not accumulate in their digestive tract. It will help in digestion and it serves as a valuable source of calcium and minerals. This includes oyster shells, cuttle bones, limestone, and other marine shells. Here's how to process our oysters. First, we need to separate the meat from the shells. Make sure that there is no leftover meat on the shell. Now, get a toothbrush or any brush and scrub the shells until all the dirt and slime and algae comes off. And rinse them well. Put them under the sun for 2 days to make sure that any bacteria will die off and to make sure that our shells are 100% dry. Once they are dried, get your hammer and get a bag. Put the oysters in the bag. The bag will prevent shards that will fly all over the place. And then smash it with your hammer until it turns into tiny pieces about the size of fine sand, but not powdery. Now, we have our oyster grits. Redstone. Redstone will serve as our insoluble grit. Insoluble grit means that it will not dissolve in the stomach, but it will help the gizzard grind food. There's still a debate whether to give hookbills insoluble grit because they already remove the husk when eating the seeds. I like to give my birds just a little bit of insoluble grit because it helps in grinding and also helps nutrient absorption. Redstone is made of clay that has been fired at high temperatures before being ground. It is rich in minerals and trace elements and also produces solid droppings in our birds. You can get redstones on poultry supply stores. Get the one that is used for pigeons or for finches. It is already mixed with marine shells and other grits. This is pigeon grit. It is too large for our birds, so we need to make it smaller. Just put it in a bag and smash it until it turns into the size of fine sand. Himalayan salt. Himalayan salt is one of the purest salt available that you can get. It is more natural than processed table salt and has less sodium. It has iodine and it consists of trace minerals like potassium, magnesium, and it also have calcium. The best thing about this salt is having 84 minerals that is very beneficial for the body. It also helps in contracting and relaxing of muscles just like calcium. This prevents egg binding on hens and helps on egg laying. Others say that birds don't need salt, but birds in the wild do search for salt just like macaws that travels miles to look for salt deposits to fulfill their needs. Eggshells. As we already know, eggshells are almost made entirely of calcium carbonate. Birds do eat their own eggshells after the chick hatches to replenish their calcium needs. Just like what we did on our oyster shells, lay those eggs under the sun or bake them to remove any bacteria and salmonella, and grind them or put them on a blender until it turns into the size of fine sand. Cuttle bone. It is the inner shell of the cuttlefish. It is made of aragonite, a crystallized calcium carbonate. It has the essential trace elements. It has calcium phosphate, sodium, magnesium, phosphorus, and other mineral salts. You can just put the cuttle bone on your cages, but for me, I just add it on my mineral block. Because when you put it in your cages, it takes a bit of space and it will be filled with a lot of poop. And putting it all or in your cages will make your aviary smell like marine life. And you can also save money just by adding 1 or 2 cuttle bones on your mix. Here's how to prepare our cuttle bone. Wash it in running water, dry it in the sun for 2 days or so, Put it in a bag and smash it just like what we did earlier with the shells, or you can scrape the soft part and put it in the blender. Moringa powder. Moringa, or malunggay as we name it in our country, is the best food or supplement you can give to your bird. You can give it fresh or in powder form. It is also the best nesting material you can give for your African lovebirds. Moringa powder will serve as our multivitamins instead of powdered commercial vitamins, because commercial vitamins or supplements can easily spoil. If Himalayan salt has 84 minerals, moringa has 92 nutrients and 46 antioxidants. It has more vitamin C than 7 oranges, 10 times the vitamin A in carrots, 15 times the potassium in bananas, 17 times the calcium in milk, 25 times the iron in spinach, and many more amazing nutritional values. Diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is the remains of dead diatoms, which are basically microscopic algae that are fossilized many years ago. It's mainly made out of silica that is very good for nails, skin, feather, and beaks. Bones has more silica than calcium. Diatomaceous earth is also good for the digestive tract and helps clean the blood. It detoxifies the body and removes metals in the body. This will also become as our dewormer that is natural and no overdose on our birds. It is completely safe even in human consumption. Just get the food grade or feed grade when using it for ingesting. It can kill pathogens and insects because it has very sharp edges, just like broken shards of glass that are microscopic. It will damage the exoskeleton of insects and causing dehydration that will cause death. We will talk more about diatomaceous earth in our future videos because diatomaceous earth is very beneficial in our aviaries. Charcoal. Charcoal can also benefit our birds. It promotes good digestion. It can remove toxins and poisons and other chemicals that accumulated in the gut. You can use activated charcoal or just plain charcoal. Activated charcoal basically has more surface area than regular charcoal. It acts like a sponge that binds toxins. Some people add it in their calcium block. I don't put it in my mix because it can interfere with the absorption of some vitamins such as vitamin A, B2, and K, resulting in deficiencies. I give it separately for my birds that has diarrhea or digestion problems. But if you want to add it, it's alright. Just put it in tiny pieces and not in powder form because your mineral block will turn black and not so pleasing to look at. Reptile calcium and vitamin D. Reptile calcium is an ultra-fine calcium carbonate supplement for reptiles and amphibians. It just happens that I have this supplement for Tuck, my Malayan box turtle. For those who have reptiles and amphibians, here's how to feed calcium. Just dip your feeder fish or insects in the powder. Make sure to coat it well and feed it directly to your pet. Reptiles really need calcium, especially for turtles because of their shell. The calcium supplement I got has vitamin D added to it. Vitamin D is very important when giving calcium. The main function of vitamin D3 is to increase intestinal absorption of calcium and phosphorus. Calcium, phosphorus, and vitamin D3 works together and must have the right balance. Always remember that calcium will not be absorbed without vitamin D. So if your birds are indoors, you will need vitamin D. My birds get direct sunlight, but I also provide them with vitamin D. Remember that the sun's beneficial vitamins does not pass through glass. If your birds are near windows, just open them to get the full benefits of the sun. Morning sun is better than the afternoon sun, and your birds will be safe from heat stroke. How do our birds get vitamin D3 from the sun? It will start on the preening gland. It is a tube above the base of the tail that secretes oil. This oil contains a compound that produces vitamin D when exposed to the sun's ultraviolet rays. As your bird grooms, your bird spreads this oil over the feathers, and when the oil is exposed in the sun, it activates vitamin D and gets ingested by preening. This oil also acts as waterproofing for feathers. So remember that without vitamin D, our mineral or calcium block is useless. Plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris is made of gypsum. It is also called calcium sulfate. It is used for pottery and casting molds. It is non-toxic and can be very safe for our birds. Plaster of Paris will serve as our binding agent to hold all of our ingredients in one piece. So, that explains all of our ingredients that we will use. You can also add other mineral-rich ingredients that you can think of. You can add spirulina for added vitamins and other calcium supplements for pets. Here are other materials that we will need. Cups. These are aluminum cups for baking. You can also use paper cups used for cupcakes or drinking cups. Wires. I will be using galvanized wire, but you can use any wires you have laying around somewhere. You can also just use paper clips. Just bend your wires like this. It will add more surface area for your block to hold on. We will be measuring our ingredients by percentage. That will be 20% cuttlebone, 20% oyster shells, 20% eggshells, 10% redstones or insoluble grits, 10% diatomaceous earth, 10% Himalayan salt, 5% moringa powder, 5% reptile calcium with vitamin D.
So first, we will need a scoop. This will be our 10%. The size is about 1.5 inches in height and 1 inches in diameter. So let's start by adding 20% of our cuttlebone. That means it will be 2 of these. So this is our cuttlebone. Put it in a container. That will be 2 scoops. And now we will add our oyster grits. We also need 20% of this. 1 and 2. Now we will need our eggshells. We also need 20% of this. One and 2. Now we will add our Himalayan salt. This will be 10%. 10%. And also our redstone or pigeon grit. We need 10% of it. 1 scoop. And then the diatomaceous earth. We need also 10% of this. So that will be 1 scoop also. Now we will also add our reptile calcium or reptical. This will be 5%. So 5% of this scoop is just the half of it. And we will need our moringa powder. This will be our multivitamins for our birds. We also need just about 5% of this. Again, just half of the scoop. And we will add it. So now that we have our 100% mix, we need to add more 100% of plaster of Paris. So that would be 10 scoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The last one, 10. Now, we will need to mix it all together. Just mix it well so that all our ingredients are even. Now we are done mixing all of our ingredients. It's time to put and add water. So, what water do we need? We will use about just 5 scoops of water or 50% of the plaster of Paris. This water is mineral water that I just bought on the store. It also has calcium and other minerals. So the ratio of the plaster of Paris is like 2 parts is to 1 part water. So we need to add our water. And then we will add our ingredients. We will add this slowly so that there is no air bubbles, because we don't need those air bubbles. So we need a solid block. Let it soak before adding more. And now it's time to mix it.
Just mix it until we reach the consistency of a creamy paste.
Now that it's all mixed up well, we need to transfer them to the cups.
Now put your bended wires and tap it. This will remove bubbles and make the excess water come up to the top.
Now that we are done, we will just wait about 4 hours to let them dry.
While we are waiting for 4 hours, just a quick update on my boy here. He's still doing it every day. The first clutch of eggs are all infertile. That does not mean that he can't have his own family, because it's very common for first-timers to have their first clutch infertile. So I gave them another chance, and as of today, they already have 2 eggs, and I will give an update in the next video. I also found beetles lurking around my bins where I keep my empty husks. Remember that they will not harm your birds. I don't have them in my nest boxes because I have repellents, and I will make a video about pests in the future. I don't want to waste anything in my aviary, so I collect these beetles and feed it to Rona, my female flower horn. Insects are also a good source of protein and calcium. Well, 4 hours has passed and it's time to check our blocks. Just gently push the sides of the cups and pop it from the bottom. And here it is, our tasty, nutritious, organic mineral block. But wait, there's more. Don't give it yet to your birds. The curing time of the plaster of Paris is about 48 hours, so we still need to let it cure for 2 days before giving it to our birds. Just let them dry in shaded areas without direct sunlight and you should be good. Look how my birds like it. They really know what is good for them.
If you know other ingredients that we can add in our mineral block, just comment it down below so we can also learn from your experience and others too, and other hobbyists. and keep on sharing our videos so we can help others so that they will have quality birds and healthy birds. And I thank you so much for sharing my videos and liking, commenting. Yeah, so make sure to subscribe to my channel, Birdiology. And for those about to subscribe,
We salute you.
yeah! And God bless you and happy bird keeping! Yeah! Hoo, yeah!
Birdiology.